next guest takes on Daniel Carey coming up here at Bellator 195 on March 2nd. It is Cris "Sunshine" Williams joining me here on the program for the very first time. Cris, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's good to finally talk to you. I know we've been trying to schedule something for a while, and you got this fight coming up here for Bellator. But before we talk about that, guy who has a nickname like Sunshine, I got to know the backstory behind that. What's the story there?
All right. So I'm kind of like the Joker from the Batman series, dude. I've got like 4 or 5 different stories of why he got his nickname or whatever. The first one was one of my coaches said there was this guy that he knew in prison or something like that named Sunshine, because he was this like tough SOB, but he always had a smile on his face. I was like, oh, that's a little creepy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. The next one was I would come in when I first started training MMA, and this was Chael had like an underground crew of like big dudes, and there was me, and I'm like $160. So these dudes would beat the living tar out of me every day, and I kept coming back. I was like, oh, this is great, yeah. And then that's the other way, and then the third way is I like to act a little silly, in case you haven't noticed, and it reminded them of the guy from Remember the Titans, the quarterback. So pick which one you like. I don't really care.
All the stories are good. I mean, it's good to have a story regardless. You have 3. Some people don't have any stories. They're just like, coach gave it to me or something boring like that. So I like hearing that there's 3 stories, not just one.
Yeah.
But let's go all the way back to the beginning. How'd you get involved in combat sports initially, growing up in the Pacific Northwest?
So what's crazy about it is I was born in Iowa. So everyone thought I was going to be like a wrestler or something, and that didn't really happen. And then we moved out to California, and now it's probably the worst experience of my life. It was awful. Oh my gosh.
Really? Okay.
Oh my gosh, California's terrible. It's pretty, but you don't want to live there. And then I started doing Taekwondo because we lived in the Bay, and I was getting my ass kicked because look at me, I'm pasty white. You know what I mean? But there's no sun out here in the Pacific Northwest. When I was down there, I was a little more tan, but. So I did Taekwondo, and I was killing it. I was jumping around, doing spin stuff, and went to, you get older, you do wrestling or whatever. I don't know, not everyone, but I did. And everything just kind of disappeared, and the second martial arts disappeared from my life, I saw a immediate, turmoil. It just kind of, you know what I mean? And I was going through college, and I saw a couple of amateur fights in Oregon, and I thought, wow, that's crazy. Those guys are terrible. I know I can do better than that.
Okay.
So I put together this whole freaking 5-year plan for MMA. I did all the little research or whatever you want to call it, and I put it together, and that's kind of where it started.
Interesting. So you're watching these amateur fights that are in Oregon. How did you end up going out there? Was it just the fact that you saw the fights there, or did you go there for a different reason?
So there's different parts of Oregon, right? You got Southern Oregon, Central Oregon, and then Portland's more at the upper end, the north. And I was in Southern Oregon. It's where I met she's my fiance now. We were both going to college. Oh yeah, it's sweet. Anyways, we were both going to college there, and I saw some fights. I don't know how it happened, and then I wanted to do some jiu-jitsu. There was a weird jiu-jitsu place down there. It was, dude, I mean, I don't want to bash anyone, but...
No, of course. Fair enough. We'll just leave it at weird jiu-jitsu place, yeah.
Yeah, that dude, perfect example. And one of the guys there was like, dude, look, I know you got what it takes. You need to go to Portland. You need to go to Gracie Baja. Portland, nobody knows about it. This guy, Fabiano Sterner, he's like a secret wizard. And I was like, well, I was already looking to transfer to Portland State. I had just aced the whole school year at Southern Oregon. I was like, I need more of a challenge. Double whammy. Portland State is super hard, and this place is in Portland, and that's kind of how it happened.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So tell me the first time you meet Chael Sonnen. What's that like?
Dude, I think it was my second day in the gym, and there's only 4 people in there, mind you. So a new face is recognizable. This was back then. I mean, now, my gosh, we have so many faces. And I was like, I didn't say a word, right? Okay, let me just make that clear. The whole practice, I'm like, and I'm looking around and nobody's looking at me, and I was like, oh. And then I don't know, maybe 15 minutes after practice goes by, he's like, what's up, man? I'm Chael. How you doing? Nice to see your face. And then a couple days later, he was like, so you got a nickname, huh? And it was dude, that was it. It was pretty funny. And he's always been that guy. So.
Now, as far as what pays the bills and everything, do you have a job on top of fighting, or do you just relying on sponsors?
Yeah, so I was going to school full time, taking 16 to 20 credits because I used to party a lot freshman and sophomore year. So it took me 5 years to graduate. That was great, but I graduated, whatever. But yeah, so like those last 2 years, I was hustling to like go to class and get these practices in, and that was like, wow, that was the hardest thing. And so I worked in a nightclub, and dude, I don't know, many people that work in a nightclub. You don't ever want to work at a nightclub. It's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. I had this, I've seen things that you don't want to see. I'm not talking like evil criminal things. I'm talking like disgusting club chick, back room, having to take care of them. You're like, all right, here's your Uber. Oh, geez, man. And they're like,
you see the worst of people in clubs. You really do, especially if you're working in that industry.
Every dude that like saw me and knew I fought was like, oh yeah, man, pop, pop, on the whatever. And I was like, get your hands off me. There was even I don't know if you're a big soccer guy, football, whatever. There was like a super famous Portland soccer dude who came in, and I had to cater to him. I was his host. So I wasn't a bartender or anything. I was a VIP host. I did the tables and the bottles. And he like would like slap me around. I was like, you do that again, I'm going to fucking kill you. I don't know if I can cuss on these, dude, but
you can cuss all you want, man. I'm Canadian, but it doesn't mean you can't cuss. Go for it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes. All right, awesome. So yeah, and then he ended up not even like tipping anybody either. He rang up like a friggin'.
I hear that a lot with athletes. They're they make all this money and then they're the cheapest tippers. That's
yeah.
Insane.
They worship them in Portland. Like they worship the soccer players, like they worship their coffee and their rallies. And this dude comes in here and spends a couple $1,000s on cheap Tito's vodka or whatever it was, some shots, and doesn't tip because he's so mad. I'm like, dude, what do you expect? You bought like 100 and something shots in a club. Why don't you just buy a bottle? You stupid. Like, whatever.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, that makes sense. So now what are you doing now that you've been out of the nightclub stuff?
Yeah, so what happened was I managed to make a good bit of money from that. Because I had the hustle game strong, and then I put together a really strong marketing plan and started approaching businesses, all businesses. At first, I was just like, anyone, come here. Hey, you, what are you doing? You own a business? Come here. And then I was like, all right, this is a little out of control. I need to narrow down my brand. I'm a brand. This is me, Sunshine, entertainment, media connoisseur, entertainment capitalist, whatever you want to call it. And I started finding these sponsors that really fit my brand. One of them is this brand I'm wearing right now called Feed Me, Fight Me. That's like the easiest brand to represent, dude, because I'll fight you and I'm always hungry. So get out of my face. You know what I mean? So once I did that, I started getting these sponsors who invest in me, and they knew I was going to be in the big show. And a perfect example is this excavation guy. I mean, he didn't really get any benefit out of sponsoring me, but he just wanted to see me succeed. So,
excellent. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. Let's talk about this fight. You're taking on Daniel Carey. Have you had a chance to sort of assess him as an opponent? How do you feel like you match up against him?
Man, I don't really look up anybody I fight, to be honest. If I fight some like big name, the only way that I've looked them up is if I saw some of their stuff before. You know what I'm saying? Like not like intentionally, like, oh, I gotta look this guy up. I never do that ever.
Do your coaches do that, or you just go in kind of focused on what you're good at?
Yeah, that's exactly it, dude. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and he's going to do what he's going to do. But what I'm doing is 100 times better than what he's doing. I mean, my coaches don't go out there. I mean, there was one coach I had that was into that, and I was like, dude, he was like telling me before one of my amateur fights, and I was like, shut up. I don't care, man. I don't care. You're going to make me like, I got my own thing going on, dude. I'm Mr. Unpredictable. You'll never know what I'm going to do, dude. It's a trip.
I like that. That sounds good. Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp? Is it just the same guys as usual over at Gracie Barra?
Yeah, Ricky Simone, Jake Smith, another buddy, Cash Barnes. He got back from Thailand not that long ago. My other really good friend, his name's Thomas Patrick. He fought up in Canada not that long ago at,
Is it Battlefield Fight League?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's in. I only know that because I'm actually from Vancouver, so originally, so I know that's the only promotion. They kind of mix and match. They'll kind of trade, Canadians up and fight in Washington, and then they'll send Americans up. So there you go.
That makes sense. You guys like to steal a little bit of the American action. Okay. Yeah, so he fights this weekend. oh gosh, February, whatever the date is. So yeah, those are my partners, and having those guys, it's crazy, to have a partner like Ricky too, man.
Who
That
should
guy,
be in the UFC? What's going on? How come he's not getting the call up?
well,
He just won the LFA title.
let me tell you something. I met him over a year ago when they came to our gym. We had like a big transfer, a bunch of stuff was going down, and he was just as good then, if not. I mean, he's getting better and better every day. You know what I mean? He has the same philosophy as myself. You got to 1% better, same old, better than you are yesterday. That's my thing. And I don't know how many guys he has to beat to get the call. It just blows me away because he doesn't, maybe he doesn't like to sling that trash the way some of the other guys do. I mean, look at him though. He's got everything you want, man. Put him on I don't know, a fight night, man. Do something.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he, like you said, he just got to win over a UFC vet. I mean, I don't know what else you need to do to get in the UFC, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. How do you see this fight sort of playing out on March 2nd from your perspective? I mean, you're going to win. Obviously, you wouldn't have taken the fight, but, how do you sort of see it unfolding? I
got a lot of ideas on how I want it to go down, and then I got the reality of what it'll probably go down. I'm going to give him a little something. He's going to be like, I don't like that. And then I'm just going to, take what's offered. If he's sticking his head up, I'm going to get a choke. If he's swinging his arms around like a maniac, maybe I'll just punch. If he, does some dumb little, back fist smack thing, I'm going to make him pay for it. I mean, I'm a little sadistic, I just like to see what's offered to me. And that last fight, the guy was I was throwing on him, and he was, so hesitant. I was like, all right, you're going to back up, okay? I'm just going to jump guard on you. What are you going to do then? So, we'll see what goes down. I'm pretty excited.
If you get the win here, this will be your second fight in Bellator. You're still undefeated. What are you sort of looking at after this? I know you're not looking past your opponent, but I imagine you want sort of a bigger name because you're undefeated, you're a young guy, and you're in a good division in welterweight.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I have a whole plan. So I've looked past him. I've looked past the guy after that. I mean, that's my thing, And other people be like, "Don't look past your guy." I'm like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. It's working out just fine. Thank you. I want this guy, and then there's another fight that's happening in April with this loudmouth Irish guy, and gosh, he's fighting another guy. I can't remember his name. It's Bubbles or something. I don't know his name. So Gallagher and Bubbles, and I'm curious to see how that goes down because Gallagher wins. He's in a much better spot to do something big, but that guy's tough. And I'll take either one of them, but I want that Irish boy, man. I want that little smooth skin looking, man, I want it. In the summertime. It'd be a perfect, opportunity, man. We can go to Ireland. We can stay here. I don't care.
All right. Good stuff. Last question for you here. What do you get up to on your downtime? Are you watching any Netflix, playing any video games, anything like that?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, dude. I used to fight the video games hard. I was like, no video games. You need to always be busy, and I was always busy, and then I burned myself out. And then I started playing this new game. It's like Players Unknown. It's like this 100-man war, every man for themselves thing. And I'm like, dude, this is like the craziest game I've ever played. So now I'm going to try to get into that Demetrius Johnson Twitch life.
Nice, you should. Yeah, make some dollars, get some, get a different fan base.
Yeah, I think I got the creativity for it, dude. I killed.
Think so too.
I got this guy called Dr. Disrespect. He killed me. On one of my games, and I was like, what? And then my buddy's like, that dude's famous. And I looked him up. He's like a freaking millionaire from playing video games. He looks like one of the homeless dudes down the street. I was like, what? Yeah. So I got to get in on that.
Awesome, man. We certainly are looking forward to this fight. It's Bellator 195 coming up here March 2nd. Chris, it was great finally getting a chance to talk to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yes, the floor is mine. I'm just going to soak this in for a second. Just give me one second.
Go for it.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right, yeah. So I'm Cris Sunshine MMA on Twitter, Cris_Sunshine_145. Very basic. I used to be Krispy Kreme, but Cris Sunshine 145 on Instagram. I've got a Facebook page. I mean, it's kind of whack, but you can follow that too. And, dude, I've got the best sponsors in the world, man. I know everybody says that same old bullshit line, but I've got Feed Me, Fight Me. I mean, this shirt, man, this shirt speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? And then I've got an exoskeleton resistance armband sponsor called Armor Fitness, dude. It's friggin' baller. It's what gives me these massive forearm. Look at those forearm muscles. And then I got a sponsor called Ball Wash. You should check them out. Nothing personal. It is exactly what it sounds like. Infused charcoal into a delicious shampoo for your nut, butt, and balls. Nut, butt, and balls? Nut, butt, and body. That's what it is. Yeah. J&M Excavation. Ah, yeah. There's one more. It's going to bug me, and I know I'm going to forget it, and I'm going to look at my list later, but I love you all, and I'm sorry I can't remember it.
What's up, fight fans? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to see even more interviews with your favorite UFC and Bellator fighters. We've also got coverage at events, including post-fight press conferences and media scrums. And if you like this video, check out the video to my right. It's worth your time.